Let's break down the timeline of the most intense 2 weeks the Middle East has seen in decades, a period marked by escalating tensions and direct military confrontation. We're talking about the Iran-Israel direct war of June 2025. A conflict that many experts had predicted but few anticipated would erupt with such ferocity. For years, these two countries were locked in a shadow war, a clandestine struggle defined by assassinations, sabotage, and proxy fights, waged across multiple fronts and continents. But that all changed dramatically on June 13, 2025. This date marks the official transition from a covert conflict to an overt and declared war. Israel kicked things off with Operation Rising Lion, launching a series of coordinated airstrikes on Iranian nuclear and military sites, specifically targeting key locations in Tehran, Natanz, and Tabriz. Drones, precision-guided bombs, the whole works, a full display of Israel's advanced military capabilities. Several top Iranian commanders and nuclear scientists were killed in the initial strikes. This was a significant blow to Iran's military and nuclear ambitions. Iran responded right away, as expected. On June 14th, they retaliated by firing around 100 missiles at Israel. Some of these missiles broke through Israeli defenses and hit Tel Aviv, but the majority were intercepted by the combined efforts of Israeli and U.S. air defense systems. The Iron Dome proved its effectiveness, but the attack highlighted vulnerabilities. The next day, June 15th, Israel ramped up its airstrikes, significantly intensifying the aerial bombardment. They focused hard on Iran's nuclear energy sector, aiming to cripple their nuclear capabilities. Warnings went out to civilians, particularly those living near these key strategic targets, a clear sign things were escalating rapidly and getting incredibly serious. The potential for widespread devastation was becoming increasingly apparent. From June 16th through the 21st, it was just a relentless back and forth of attacks and counterattacks. Iran continued to send more missiles and drones towards Israeli territory. Israel doubled down on their offensive, hitting missile sites with precision strikes and targeting key Iranian scientists involved in weapons development. The cycle of violence seemed endless. Then, on June 22nd, the conflict took a whole new and dangerous turn, marking a significant escalation. The United States jumped in directly, entering the fray. They launched Operation Midnight Hammer, directly striking major Iranian nuclear facilities with overwhelming force. Key sites at Fordow, Natanz, and Isfahan were targeted in the American offensive. Tomahawk missiles, bunker busters, the kind of heavy-duty hardware that sends a clear message that the U.S. meant business. This intervention significantly raised the stakes of the conflict. Iran didn't hold back in responding to the American intervention either. Their Revolutionary Guard answered the U.S. strikes by launching a barrage of missiles at the U.S. Al Udeid Air Base in Qatar. But once again, the majority of these missiles were shot down by defensive systems, preventing them from causing significant damage to the base or its personnel. The effectiveness of these defense systems was crucial in preventing further escalation. After nearly 2 weeks of intense and relentless warfare on June 24th, diplomatic pressure from various international actors finally paid off, leading to a breakthrough. President Trump personally brokered a truce between the warring nations. Iran agreed to cease all bombing activities at dawn. Israel reciprocated, following suit with their own ceasefire 12 hours later. But it's important to note that the ceasefire wasn't perfect or comprehensive. There were still reports of a few isolated missile strikes and retaliatory actions, serving as a stark reminder to everyone that the peace was extremely fragile and easily broken. The situation remained highly volatile. The human toll of this conflict has been undeniably brutal, with estimates indicating around 610 deaths in Iran, including not only civilians but also paramedics and even detainees, and dozens of civilian casualties reported in Israel. The loss of life on both sides is a tragic consequence of this conflict. So, with all of that having unfolded, where does that leave us now? The truce is currently holding, but only for now. Critically, there's no international monitoring presence to oversee the ceasefire, and nobody can say with certainty whether Iran's nuclear program has been effectively neutralized for good. The long-term implications remain unclear. This war represents the first direct air conflict between Iran and Israel since the Iranian Revolution in 1979. And now, with the United States directly involved in the conflict, the stakes are undeniably higher than ever before, significantly increasing regional tensions, and the prospect of lasting peace is hanging by a very thin thread. The future remains uncertain and fraught with potential for renewed conflict. If you're interested in a deeper dive into this complex situation, perhaps you'd like a comprehensive list of the key leaders killed, detailed maps showing the strike locations, or a more in-depth analysis of the US's role in the conflict, then please let me know what you'd like to see in the comments section below. Your feedback helps guide our future content.